Does your fantasy team need help at the wide receiver position? I'm here with my top waiver wire picks for week 9 and beyond to help you win, starting with number 5. So the first pick I have for you is the rookie Jalen Reagor in Philadelphia. Now, he hasn't seen much action. Well, he hasn't seen any action since week 2, and he actually didn't get a whole lot of targets last night. He saw 6 targets, catching 3 of them for 16 yards. One was a touchdown early on. But when you consider that really Philadelphia doesn't have a whole lot else to go with, Travis Fulgham has emerged as a top target there, and it looks like he's legitimately earned that role. But Reagor could actually be the number 2 alongside him. So Reagor definitely has some intrigue. Obviously, they drafted him for a reason. Philadelphia is still without Zach Ertz for at least a couple of weeks. Deshaun Jackson also on IR. Alshon Jeffrey looks like he's just not going to play. So Reagor could be tied to he hasn't played very well this year, but supposedly a good quarterback in Carson Wentz. But really, as a number 2 target on a team that is fighting to win the division, believe it or not, Reagor definitely has some intrigue. The downside is in week 9, if you need help, you can't count on him because he's got a bye week. So this is more of a late season stash, somebody to look for going forward, but we know he's got the talent and he's got the opportunity. So that's the kind of player that you might want to have on your roster. Number 4, I got Quintez Cephas, another rookie. Going a little deeper here, but you might have heard Kenny Golladay is going to be out for week 9. They've already declared him out. Of course, he missed most of week 8 with that hip injury that forced him to leave early. He's been banged up all year. If you remember, he started out the season injured also. In week 1, Cephas took his place and saw 10 targets. Now, he only caught 3 of them, but that was a really tough matchup with the Bears. And he did a decent job filling in for him. He's had a few weeks to kind of observe and learn because he's been out of action. But you know what? This is his chance to come back. And I kind of like Cephas, especially this week. You got to like him. The fact he's going against the Vikings giving up the second most fantasy points per game to wide receivers, of course, only behind Seattle. You stream every receiver against Seattle. But Cephas definitely has a chance to surprise here, and he's available everywhere, literally everywhere. He's 1% rostered in leagues. So kind of a sneaky stash here. And you can stream him this week if you need. So I like Cephas. I know some people say, well, Danny Amendola is going to have that same defined role. He's not going to play the X receiver role like Cephas is. And Cephas, of course, has the higher ceiling. So either one is viable, but I'm going to kind of go lean a little bit towards Cephas. Number 3 at wide receiver for week 9 is going to be Darnell Mooney. Sticking with the young guys here, Mooney has seen at least 5 targets in every game since week 2. So it isn't just Nick Foles looking his way. He's become an integral part of this offense. He's taken over really as a second target behind Allen Robinson, doing what we thought Anthony Miller would do. But Mooney has looked sharp, and you saw he made some big plays against New Orleans. So it's actually a really good matchup too, going against Tennessee in week 9. Tennessee is giving up the 5th most fantasy points to wide receivers. Chicago's offense is not one that you really love to trust, going forward, but it looks like this is a time where you could stream Mooney. He's a pretty solid ad, even in PPR leagues. So I got Mooney's number 3. Number 2 is somebody who hasn't played for a while, but Allen Lazard is on the verge of coming back. The window is open for the team to activate him. He got a little bit of practice in last week. This is the time to add him. If you haven't already, if somebody in your league hasn't been stashing him or added him, look for Lazard if he's available everywhere. The only thing that could kind of kill my excitement about Lazard coming back is if the Packers do go out and make a trade before the deadline and they add, let's say, an AJ Green or Will Fuller or somebody like that. Obviously, that kind of, I wouldn't say kills his value, but it definitely hurts it. But we're not sure if that's going to happen. So for now, get ready to make a claim on Lazard. If you remember the last time we saw him, he was putting up 146 yards. He was averaging 87 yards a game over the first 3 weeks before that unfortunate injury. So yeah, you've got to like Lazard going forward. All right, and then my number 1 pick for this week, it is Corey Davis. It is indeed. Talk about a post-hype breakout, Devontae Parker style. So Corey Davis is finally emerging as a type of receiver that was expected all along. Would you believe that so far this season, he has outgained A.J. Brown in yardage, 369 to 356. And you can say, yeah, Brown missed some time with injuries. Well, Davis missed some time with COVID. They have the exact same number of games played. you can't use that as an excuse. Corey Davis is just as much involved. Brown has got more touchdowns, but Davis is a solid fantasy wide receiver at this point. We can't ignore it anymore. There's really not a lot of depth at receiver there, but Davis is showing the kind of form we hoped he would all along. If he is available in your leagues, I'd say scoop him up right now. It's hard to recommend starting him this particular week because a really tough matchup, again, against that Chicago secondary. But going forward, the rest of the season, you want somebody that you can scoop up and kind of have, for injuries, for bye weeks, or someone who has a favorable matchup. I like Corey Davis going forward, and you should too, right? Forget last year, forget the year before, forget the times he's disappointed you. Think about right here now, he is a legit fantasy option. All right, for more options at running back, quarterback, tight end, everything else on waiver wire, check out our other videos here. Hit that subscribe button right there down below. And leave us a comment if you have a question about any other possible waiver wire claims. Who do you like this week, and who are you backing off of? All right, guys, thanks for watching.